gods have different rules. Religious pluralism claims that all religions lead to God and that people in any religion can be saved through whatever God they choose to worship. But there is an important implication that goes with this. Different gods have different rules, so in order to maintain harmony within a pluralistic society, morals often become very lax. And if you didn't catch everything I just said, that's okay. I'm going to go through it real slowly. Different gods have different rules. There's a lot of people that believe that the basic moral principles that are found in the Ten Commandments can be found in any other religion. You've probably heard something like this before. You probably have heard, well, the Hindus have about the same laws that we do, and if you do that, everything's going to be okay. Because the Hindus have something that's like the Ten Commandments. It's just not true. And it's not true for a couple of reasons. Whenever you look at another religion, and you look at the commandments that exist within that religion, there are going to be things in the Ten Commandments that religion will leave out. And more importantly, I think, there will also be rules that they have in that other religion that permit things that the Ten Commandments forbids. Here's some examples. Last week we were talking about the worship of Baal and Ashtoreth. And we were talking about how that worship involved temple prostitution. If you needed fertility at some point in your life, whether it was to have a child or whether it was to have your crops grow, then the thing that religion taught that you should do was to go and to see the temple prostitute. And when you had sex with a temple prostitute, then that was what would bring about fertility. That is what that religion taught. And so moms would look at their kids and they would say this, "Son, I want you to remember, when things start to get tough in life, you need to go see a prostitute." That's what they would have taught. That would have been one of their highest religious beliefs. That would have been what was central to them. That's what they believed. That's what they desired. That's what they approved of. And there were also people in the Old Testament whose religion taught them that when things got really tough, you need to sacrifice your child. You need to take them to an altar and burn them before the god Moloch. What do you think? I want to tell you about another one, something that's a little bit more recent. And that is the belief in sati. In India, years ago, there was a funeral ritual that was called sati. And all of the traditional religions have some way in which we prepare people to go into the other world. In this particular religion, they took the body of a man who had died and they put it onto a lot of wood and they lit the fire up underneath that body. And as the fire started to consume the body of the man, his wife was expected to hop on top of him and burn with him. This is sati. The pluralistic society wants to say that every religion is okay and that whatever it teaches must be tolerated. Do you think that we should tolerate sati? Do you think that we should tolerate people burning their children to Moloch? Do you think that we should tolerate temple prostitution? If you want to say that every religion is okay and that all the rules of every religion are okay, you're going to run into this sort of a problem because you're going to have religions that teach something that is directly opposite to what the Ten Commandments teach. You're always going to find that. But if you want to follow after God, you can't say that sort of thing. You shall have no other gods before me. And that implies that the one true God has commandments that you must follow and that everyone else must follow as well. He is the one God. He is the God of the heavens and the earth. He is the God who created all, and everyone must obey him. God said, "You shall not commit adultery. Therefore, you should not sleep with temple prostitutes." God said, you shall not murder. And there was a man whose name was William Carey. He was a Christian missionary who went into India. And what he saw there was something that absolutely horrified him. He saw this widow who was burned. And he said, this has to stop. And so he went to the governor and he said, this is an abomination before a holy God. We cannot allow murder. We cannot allow anyone to kill themselves. And there were even times in Sati when the woman would try to get off of the fire, she would lose her faith. And then people would get sticks and then shove her back on. Because in their religion, the most important thing was doing what she should do. But Carey said, no, that's not right. And so the governor thought about it. And then one Sunday morning, very early one Sunday morning, William Carey received a letter from the governor. And it involved a law that had been passed banning sati. And it was written in English, and attached to this letter it said, Mr. Carey, would you please translate this into Bengali? And Bengali was the local language. And make this known so that people would start to enforce this law so that widows wouldn't be burned any longer. And so William Carey said, no church for me today. If I delay an hour to translate and publish this, many a widow's life may be sacrificed. And William Carey dropped everything so that murder could cease in India. William Carey was someone who made a difference. William Carey was someone who was not afraid to offend people. He is someone who didn't worry about maintaining harmony by allowing evil religious practices to continue on. William Carey is someone who had committed himself to following the one true God. He committed himself to obeying the one true God and telling others to obey the one true God as well. He is someone that is an example for us today.